What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, we're gonna go and walk through a duplex that I purchased almost 6 years ago. We're gonna show you how much I made over the course of the last 6 years. We're also gonna show you what this property is worth now if I chose to sell it. And this is the first time I'm seeing the inside of it in like 5 years. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler Smith, and I've been investing in real estate for the last 8 years. I currently own 114 units of rental real estate, about to be 124 units. Today, I actually wanted to go back and walk through the first duplex that I ever purchased. And this is actually gonna be a series. I'm gonna do this with every property I own, but today we're gonna go back to this duplex, we're gonna walk through it, we're gonna see what it's worth now, and we're gonna see what the cash flow on this property has been over the course of the last 6 years. So before we do that, I've gotta give you the rundown on how I found this property and what I ended up purchasing it for. All that I ask you to do is remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you can catch the future videos like this, where my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. So with all of that, we're just gonna jump right into it. 6 years ago, I had the real estate bug, and I was really looking for a duplex, but it's really hard to find a duplex. There wasn't anything on the market, and I didn't have a great relationship with realtors or wholesalers. So I was actually just driving around in the neighborhoods where I was hoping to find something. I was also calling random homes and just seeing what they were renting for so I could get a better feel for the market. And I drove by a property, and I kid you not, as I drove by, there was a guy out in front pounding in a for sale by owner sign. So immediately I slammed on the brakes and I went up and talked to him. I came to find out that it was a duplex and that he was going to list it for 1 week, for sale by owner, and then he was gonna get a realtor. And I said, no, that's awesome. What do you want for it? And he said, I don't know. I bought it a while ago. It's just become more work than I want. It's a duplex, and I'd probably let it go for, I don't know, $100,000. Well, I said right away, look, I'm extremely interested. And I think right then I went and walked through it with him because it was completely vacant. It was kind of nasty, it had flies in it. The floors were kind of, well, not kind of, the floors were worn out and needed to be refinished. And it definitely needed some work, but he had maintained it very well on everything else. And so we went back and forth, and right there I said, look, I want to buy this property. What can we get you down to? And we ended up working him down to a purchase price of $96,000. At this time, I was still pretty new to real estate investing, but I knew right away this was an incredible deal, and it was sitting vacant, and he had what he thought it could rent for, which was a lot lower than what I knew it could rent for just from the information that I'd gathered over the last couple months. However, my processes were not in the right place at this point. I was still kind of managing properties on my own. I was trying to transition into someone else managing them, but I knew I could get this rented at more than what he thought, and that it could end up being a great investment. Now we are just pulling up on this duplex. So if you want to just take a look, a little wear and tear on the outside, probably time to repaint it, but the lawn looks in great shape. It's still early here in Idaho, and they're already watering it. The tenants here are awesome, and I actually called them ahead of time and they were good to go. Well, I didn't call them. I had my property manager call them and set this up, and they were fine with having us come in and do a little walkthrough. So we're gonna head inside, but the one last thing I wanted to mention, the first tenant that I ever put in this property was a kid we put downstairs, and he had work history, but I didn't check credit and I didn't call any of his previous landlords, and that ended up being a big mistake. We actually put him in the bottom and this tenant in the top. She's been there since, and she actually found a new tenant for the bottom that she likes living with, but that first tenant was a little bit of a druggie, and it caused us kind of a gnarly eviction. Now, when I say gnarly eviction, it wasn't that bad. We were able to get him to just leave before we had to go through the whole process, but he did leave the place pretty trashed after not paying rent, and that was only a couple months into his lease. Lesson learned, we got lucky with her, and it's worked out to where she's been an absolutely incredible tenant. However, he, not so much. But now the place is in great shape, and we're gonna go inside and take a peek. This is it. First off, we have them take care of the lawn, and they've actually done a great job. It looks like they've got flowers back in here, which are awesome. They built this little flower bed in here. Usually with tenants, you don't want them to take care of the property, but these tenants have been awesome. They've been here forever. and this is really like a home for them. And so we've given them a lot of freedoms when it comes to taking care of the lawn. You can also see stuff like this. I usually would have our management company say none of that. However, they've been here so long, they've paid rent consistently and they've taken good care of the place. And so when it comes to setting up a swing or doing whatever else, we've been pretty chill with letting them do their thing. So looking at the property, if you've got a roof, this is a metal roof that was put on right before I ended up purchasing the property. So I'm confident it's still in great shape. What I will probably have them do this year is scrape off the paint and repaint. If not this year, soon, because as you can see, we're definitely showing some wear and we've got some bare spots. I don't want this to end up being an issue down the road. So if you look over here, this is actually the second entrance for the downstairs apartment. We'll show you inside how that all comes together. Then over here, you just have garages, yard in the back. Looks like they've set up a trampoline, so they're all good to go. The other thing is on the front step. With the winters here, you get the freezing and thawing, and you can see a lot of this has come off, so we need to come get that fixed up. Hey, how are you? Good, I was just checking this out. We need to come get that fixed for you. Cool, were you cool if we come do a quick walkthrough? We won't be long. How are you?
Come in, good, and you?
Good, is it okay if we record?
Sure.
Is that okay? Did you want my shoes off or?
No, that's fine.
First off, these floors, I don't know if you guys know, but before you moved in, we actually refinished all of these floors. And it looks like they need to be refinished again, probably every 5 years or so. That might be something we need to come get done for you guys one of these days. But we refinished these right before. And then are you cool if I just walk through?
Oh, yeah.
So you can see these floors are still in really good shape. That main walkway, I think we need to refinish them soon. But that was one of the first projects we did on this property. Bathroom looks in great shape. Another bedroom back here. I love when these properties are very like at home. These tenants have been awesome and taking great care of it. This is the kitchen. We did have an oven go out a while ago when I was talking to the management company that we've replaced since then. It's interesting, it doesn't look hardly dated at all compared to when I purchased it because they've taken great care of it. So up here, when I purchased this property, up here was full of flies. So we had to come and get it cleaned out. This in here you can see, so one bedroom in here, nice little view out the back. Then another bathroom up here, and then another bedroom. We actually didn't have to replace the carpet. We just cleaned it. It was in good shape, but this closet was where a lot of the pet issues were happening. So we were able to get that all ripped up, cleaned out, redone. And it's awesome because it smells very, very good now. But yeah, it's funny walking back in here. It's been like 5 years. It also is weird because when I bought this property, I really didn't know what I was doing yet. This was a whole new experience for me. It's really cool to come back and check it out, and especially to see tenants that have made it home and really taken care of it. That is something, so the fire detector. I have my management company consistently check these. However, that's something you always want to make sure that they're working. It sounds like the batteries are out on that one, which funny timing that we're here, but we'll have to get that fixed. Go downstairs. So I'll show you these other units. So this is where they connect, and this goes out to that back door, and then the basement is down here, and they have shared laundry, so I'll show that to you. Now what's really cool, and this is what you prefer for a duplex, after we had the bad experience with the first tenant, she had a family member that wanted to rent the basement, and so it worked out perfectly for this property. So you can see it just kind of feels like home. They work great together. You've got a laundry room, you've got washer and dryer over here and washer and dryer over here. So they've each got their own, which makes it really nice. You can also see the separate water heaters. We've got both of these on separate utilities, so they both have their own bills. And then we'll head into this other unit. So if you look in here, this is the second tenant. Now this is set up as a loft apartment, so you've got your couch, your bed, and a nice little layout here. You've got your bathroom and then a little kitchenette back in here. This layout is kind of funky and I've kind of forgotten it, but this isn't a loft apartment. This is actually a 1-bedroom apartment because you've got this bedroom right here. Just looks like they've got multiple people sleeping down here. Yeah, and I love that they put tile in here. We didn't do this, but tile down here is just gonna last forever. So that's a quick walkthrough. It's crazy because I've forgotten how big this property is, and we'll talk about it. I mean, we're doing great on rents and this tenant's been incredible. We're probably not going to change that a whole lot. One, because they've been with us forever, but two, I'm getting an incredible return on this property. However, when it comes to my sell price, with this much square footage and having 2 different units, it is more than doubled since I've purchased the property. So let's go upstairs and we'll run the numbers in my car. All right, guys, so we gave you the walkthrough. Now it's time for the fun part. I'm gonna run you through the numbers. I just plugged in everything. So originally we spent $4,000 to make it rent ready. It was a purchase price of $96,000 with 25% down. I didn't have any closing costs on this property. It was a for sale by owner and I talked them into covering that for me. My interest rate is 3.5%. Truth be told, running the numbers on this is going to be ballpark because I actually refinanced this last year to get it down to this lower interest rate, which was awesome. It gave me the ability to pull out, I think it was like a couple $1,000s. And I did it that way so that I didn't do an actual cash out refi. That made my closing costs lower and helped me get better interest rates. Long story. That's why the interest rate is low as it is. The rents on this property are $1,450. And here's the truth. This tenant has been incredible. The property manager, this is one of my tenants where the property managers come to me and said, dude, are you cool if we just don't raise rents on this? So we raised them once a while back, but they're at $1,450. I should easily be able to get, I mean, right now I should probably be getting 1,000 or even 1,100 out of the upstairs and $650 out of the basement. So technically I should be renting it probably 1,700, 1,800. We're only renting it at $1,450 right now, but I'll show you why when you look at my returns. Maintenance, I'm probably not even running at 10% because there's been no maintenance. They take care of everything. Management, I'm running at 6, insurance at 300, taxes at 1,000. When you run the numbers on this, I'm technically getting a 33% cash on cash return on my money. That means this property is cash flowing about $10,000 a year. What is sickening is the fact that I should raise rents, but this tenant has just been awesome. I should be getting $1,800 on this property, and I think I very easily could do that, which would end up cash flowing $13,000 a year and be like a 50% return on my initial investment. It's crazy. When you buy these properties a couple years ago, it's just nuts the kind of return that you can get on them. The reason I plugged in these other numbers though is with it being that, if you go back here and you change the purchase price to where it's at a 6 cap, which is what people are buying right now, I'm guessing like 230,000, maybe more. Let's see what that does. If we do $230,000, oh, that's still at a 7 cap. Yeah, it's probably worth $250,000 with where we could easily get rents up to if we wanted to sell right now, or even if you didn't. I mean, just because of the square footage, the 1 bedroom in the basement, and then having the, what was it, 4 bedrooms upstairs. Yeah, I should be able to sell this property easily over $250,000 when I bought it for $96,000 just a little over 5 years ago. If you run the math on that, that means I've consistently been getting about a 30% return on my money. That's not including principal pay down, which should be pretty substantial at this point, especially because I didn't pull that money out. I left the equity in. And then you take into consideration that it's gone up in value by $150,000. If we just run quick math and do our $10,000 a year in cash flow and multiply that by the last 5 years, that puts you at $50,000 plus the fact that it's at least gone up in value by $160,000. Wow, this is crazy. That means this property has paid me $210,000 when you take into consideration equity and cash flow in the course of the last 5 years. So if we divide that by 5, that puts me at $42,000 a year, which I only put $25,000 down on this property. This is why you should purchase real estate. This is absolutely incredible. And I don't know if you can tell, usually I have these videos very planned and I'm very excited, I'm in your face, but the fact that this property has paid me that kind of return, granted the market's been incredible and that's really helped, but I don't know what else to say other than buy real estate. Don't wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and wait. And it's funny looking at this property because if I was looking at a duplex like this, I would probably, me personally, be willing to pay, I don't know, $200,000, $225,000. Actually, I'm gonna run the numbers and see what I would pay for this property. So if I was going to buy this property right now, I would go and say, all right, I know I can get $650 out of the basement. I know I can get, honestly, I think I could get $1,200 out of the upstairs if I was, you know, willing to do that right now. That'd put me at $1,850. That's what I'd run my numbers on for purchasing it. With that being said, I'd run maintenance at 12. These tenants have been awesome. So maintenance at 12, everything else I'd leave the same. If I ran the numbers, let's say $220,000, I'd probably pay $230,000, $220,000 to $230,000 to be able to buy a property like this right now. And I'm sure a lot of you are saying, Chandler, how could you do that? You picked this one up for $96,000. Why would you buy another one at that price? Well, guys, that's how real estate works. It's always going up in value. So don't be bummed that you missed out on a deal. Find a deal that has a 10% cash on cash return or higher and buy it right now if you can find it, especially in a market like this. So that is the rundown on the property. All I can say is I was expecting to walk in here and be disappointed, see more major issues. Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend some money to get it repainted, and I'm gonna have to fix up a couple other things like the front steps. But wow, this investment has been absolutely incredible. And it's kind of just humbling and I don't know, exciting. I'm overwhelmed by how awesome this is, and I'm really excited to go and do this with all of the properties that I own. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And I look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks, guys.